Today we want to talk about how to generate 20 million in volume. If you guys are comfortable with it, put a thumbs up or an emoji of who's already exceeding the 20 million mark or who's on pace to at least hit 20 million this year. So that means that you should be probably around 7.5, give or take, year to date. Thumbs up, thumbs down, emojis, no emoji, something, huh? It's too early for you guys. Well, let's dive in. First thing I want you guys to know is that most agents, they don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they stay operators instead of becoming CEOs. And for those of you guys that have been on calls with me in the past, you know that I'm really big on the title CEO. As a matter of fact, my social media handle is CEO accredited. And the reason why I chose that is because I believe in ownership. A long time ago, I learned that you cannot sell something that you do not own. And the reason why I share that with you is because we have to take ownership in our own success. So, for example, you can't sell the success that you want to portray upon others, the trust that you want your clients to buy into, the confidence that you want to deploy, unless you have ownership. So, you have to own our results, good and bad, right? So, 20 million homes or 20 million in volume. Let's break that down real quick so it's simple. One, if you're in California, it's only 20 deals because it's easy for us at least an average of $1 million, 20 homes, not a difficult task, 20 transactions for the year. If you got $2 million homes, obviously that's half the count, then you only got 10 transactions you got to do. But for some of us, let's say we're in a average of half a million, $500,000 spot. That's 40 homes. 40 transactions for the year is still highly obtainable. I don't say it has a stretch goal. It's highly obtainable as long as we have systems. So we need to believe that the math is not impossible. You guys agree with me so far? Am I getting these chats, by the way? Let me see if I can see everyone's feedback. There we go. No, he's all right. There we go. Okay, it's just going real fast. Cool. So we know that 40 million is highly attainable. So what are the challenges? The first one is consistency. The second is our lead generation. The third is our systems. The fourth is our mindset. And the fifth is that we have to be able to execute under pressure. And that fifth one I want to emphasize. Many of us, we get into what I'll call maybe paralysis analysis. We'll gather all of our leads. We want to check out our farms. We want to maybe look at what's in the queue. We want to follow up with past buyers. We want to try to follow up. Maybe we have a listing that's not selling on pace, and we kind of become frozen of like over speculating what's taking place. And I want you to know that that's where we win. We win by executing under pressure. So the agents that hit 20 million, they're not smarter. What they are is they're more focused, right? We're more visible. And if you're writing any notes down, I would write down visibility and I would circle that term because we're going to talk about that in a moment. But visibility is very significant because visibility creates familiarity. Thank you, Nazar, for the notes. I love that. They're faster. Uh, Performers in our space, and I want you to know, even though we compete with our MLS rankings, with other agents, your direct competitions with yourself, and the goal is to do better. You better to do tomorrow than you did yesterday. That's a simple goal. As long as you've done better today or tomorrow than you did yesterday, you're winning by continuing to apply that mindset mentality. So execute with speed. And I want you to know that the term speed, we get to determine how fast or slow that is. So I want you guys to know that the most successful practitioners, they execute with a very uh, high sense of urgency. You also have to be disciplined. And the last is consistency. So what I'm going to share with you today is the blueprint and not theory. I'm going to actually give you guys exactly what you got to do. So most agents, when we wake up, what are we doing? We're dealing with text messages. We're dealing with escrow, potentially maybe putting out some fires. We're dealing with random buyers. We're dealing with maybe showing requests, right? And does it relate to anybody here? Or is there a lack of activity to where we're not even dealing with that? And if there's lack of activity, we're gonna drill there too. But it's important that we recognize that there's some very important questions we have to ask ourselves. And the more important or the stronger the questions you're able to ask and answer, the more success you're going to be able to create from your business. One is what creates a predictable business? We need to be able to answer that question. Most practitioners, most entrepreneurs, they just wing it. They go get their license and then they hope or they pray that the success comes through. And I'm not against hope, I'm not against prayer, because they're very important. But discipline, consistency, and action usually will be able to deliver greater fruits. So, what creates a predictable business? The other question is what activities guarantees future closing? What activities? So, right, we wrote down visibility. The next word is I would write down activities. What activities guarantee future closings? The other question, can we get notes on that one? Activity? No? All right. The next one is what can I delegate? What can I delegate? And the last is what actually makes me money? Team, it's so important that as practitioners, we do not confuse the term busy with being productive. We're all busy. We can all find ways to remain busy. However, not all of us are converting the word busy to being productive. So I would write down the word productive, but capitalize that entire word. I love that. Thank you. So here's the truth. We're not in the real estate business, team. We have a real estate license, and I want you to know you're a practitioner. For those of us who undervalue this license, it shows in our results. In other words, I want you to know that I'm a broker, and I don't use that term lightly, but my license is just as important as a physician. It's just as important as an attorney. It's just as important as anyone else who had to go pass an exam to become an expert in their craft. The only difference is that it might not have cost as much and it might not have taken as much education. However, I'm the one that's going to determine the value behind that license. That's why we have licensed agents that we all spend the same cost to get licensed, but then our results are significantly different. Some will be able to generate, I don't know. I heard most recently in a meeting that the average agent is making minimum wage or close to minimum wage, which was mind blowing, but very true probably nationally. And then we have a handful of agents that are making seven figures. So why is that? One of the reasons is because of the value that we place behind this license. And you have to change or frame your mindset, have a paradigm shift to where you're not just a salesperson. Yes, everything is sales, but you're a practitioner. You are a licensed professional. You're a licensed consultant that people are putting their trust into to be able to execute the greatest outcome with your skill set. So we're not in the real estate business. What we are in is in these four things. We're in one, the lead generation business. If you guys hate leads, you got to love to generate leads. And I've sold myself this concept. We have to learn how to master turning suspects into prospects and then prospects into clients. It's a very simple process, but we have to start with suspecting. And suspecting is speaking to everybody. You cannot be afraid or intimidated by talking to strangers or people that yet don't know you. Why? Because your business is going to be built by people or with the transactions with people that you don't yet know. It's not all about your warm market. Our friends and family, they've already given us false promises. They already said, when you get your license, I'm going to buy a house from you. They already said, when you get your license, you're going to help me build my first flip. You're going to help me get my first investment. Now they're missing. Now they're gone. Now they're blaming the war. They're blaming the economy. They're blaming interest rates. Those are false hopes. However, when you learn how to turn suspects into prospects, then prospects into clients, you're not dependent on the warm market. And that's the beauty of the business when you're not dependent on a warm market. I love that. Thank you for this. So the next is word marketing. If you guys hate marketing, you got to learn to have a paradigm shift and love to market, especially in today's era. We got this new feature on Instagram today. Congrats to the handful of you guys that already took advantage of it. If you guys haven't seen it already, I saw some familiar faces. Nazar actually took advantage of it already this morning. I woke up, opened up Instagram. Nazar got a selfie of himself in a mix of like 50 other folks in there. Nazar, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so you guys, that's marketing. He got in front of people on their phone. How much did it cost him? Write this down, free 99. It cost him free. It was free. You guys, there's all these tools that are free, and yet we're not taking advantage of it. Marketing isn't all about spending money. It's about deploying as much as you can with what you have in front of you. And then if you have additional resources, spend it. But if you don't, everything that's free, your thumb has to be on there. Your face has to be on there. Your name has to be on there. There are numerous amount of online portals and websites that for free will allow you to put your info on there. Many of them, our local real estate association will deploy our info on there, but yet it's our responsibility to go in there and complete the profile, to put our picture, to put a small paragraph or two about what our values are, to be able to add some links on there to have the consumer go in there and learn more about us. I love the free 99. Take that, guys. If it ain't free, it ain't me. You guys can borrow that one. The third one, relationship management. Team, relationship management. That's what we're in a relationship game. Do not expect, yes, we'll get lucky. Yes, we'll get lucky where someone will find you and say, hey, buy me this house. You're the closest agent, or come sell my house. I saw a picture of you, or I saw your postcard. I want to hire you. We'll get lucky. But if you start to focus on building relationships, planting seeds, harvesting, being present all the time, then you're going to be able to have a stronger conversion of being hired and selected for the opportunity, because that builds trust. And that's the fourth. We're in a trust building business. People will do business with people that they trust. Even if they don't like you and they trust you, they will still do business with you. But if they don't trust you and they like you, they will not do business with you. You guys agree with that or disagree? Some heads, some. All right, you guys awake here? Come on, guys. So, the most powerful question: how many hours per week do you spend generating business versus servicing existing business? How many hours per week do you guys spend generating business versus servicing existing business? I ask you that question because this goes to our comfort zone. And by the way, guys, I'm waking up all my neighbors. The reason why is because we got to feed off each other's energy. But I want to let you know this. I'm not yelling at you. I'm fired up that after 23 years, I'm still excited about waking up every single day and creating my own legacy. It's not in someone else's hands. So many of us, our comfort zone is talking to existing business because why? We're familiar with it. We're hoping to get a better answer. However, if that's where you're spending most of your time and you're not doing it to generate new business, then you already know that you're going to start over again. And what's crazy about our business is that we have two different types of practitioners. And I want some of this to relate to all of you. But which practitioner do you want to be? If you've been in the business for at least a few years, think about this. Are you resetting your business every single year and you're like, this is going to be my year. This is going to be my year. This is going to be my year. Or are you building on the previous year for the next? Because I want you to know the business does get easier. It does get on autopilot, but that's intentional. It's intentional. That's how someone after 20 plus years, like Nazar, I don't know how many years the guy's been in the business, but if you go look at his YouTubes or social media and his videos, he's just as fired up today as he was 10 plus years ago. Why? Because he's been planting those seeds, and it's difficult for someone to reset their business every single year for 20 years. You get tired. So think about that. Always be generating new business, team. You know, servicing feels very productive. However, prospecting creates freedom. And that's the reason why we got this license, to create freedom. I understand most of us are like, oh, yeah, right, Sina. I went from working 40 hours a week to working 80 hours a week. That will change when you convert busy to productive. Fair enough? Guys, am I going too fast for you so far?
Can
No?
I
You
just
guys
share
with
a
me?
thought real
Am I,
quick,
am I
Sina?
too loud? All right, cool. Guys, if they don't remember you, they don't refer you. Write that down. If they don't remember you, they do not refer you. My business is all about referrals. I want you to know I get numerous pings on LinkedIn and Instagram. If they're not in my network and I don't know them, I reply back, I only work by referral. I will not invest any time. I don't even call it waste of time. I will not invest any time with someone that is not affiliated to my network, because people do not deliver. And I already spent that time in my career to deal with those folks, but I'm not going to keep chasing those people anymore. So we have to build a business to where if they don't remember you, they don't refer you. You want to be referred by people. Do not be a secret agent. Write that down. Do not be a secret agent. So many of us are a secret agent. What does that mean? That means that when someone talks about real estate, your face, your picture, your voice better come in their brain. And if it doesn't, that's your responsibility to do more, not theirs. And if you're like, well, how do I do that? Don't ask them how to do that. Ask yourself, why do you not do that? Because there's so many tools to be able to do it, especially starting with your phone. And the reason why we're not maximizing that opportunity is because of one reason, because we're not comfortable. Well, the more uncomfortable you are, the more income you're going to generate. I promise you. Everyone who is ultra successful, they might make it look comfortable, but they're very uncomfortable. Why? Because it's one thing to become successful, it's another thing to stay there. And you got to stay there. And it's not in your comfort zone. We already know this. So, where are top producers? I'm going to give you, I don't know, five, six, seven areas where you can be able to build your business easily. First of all, Instagram. This new feature, if you go and look at my page, and my name is on this Zoom next to my name, CEO Accredited. But if you go look at my story, I call out the people who use that feature today. I already got 15 people who've replied back to me calling them out. That was intentional. If you go see what I'm talking about, it was intentional. It's because I want to create engagement. So use Instagram. There's no wrong way to use it. Just use it, deploy. There's two types of people out there, investors and consumers. Most people are consuming. So give them something to consume. Don't fall into that trap yourself. Don't become the consumer. Give people data and value to consume. Next is open houses. Do not be too good for open houses, team. Unless you're crushing it and the productivity is at level 10, then open houses is where you're going to generate a lot of business. I'll talk about that in a moment. Community events, get engaged in your community. Every town, every city, every county has numerous communities. And if you have no idea what the events are, I said numerous communities. They have numerous events. And if you have no idea what the events are, I'm going to give you the secret. Go to ChatGPT, go to Cloud, go to Gemini, and type in what events are coming up in the city of Eastvale from now till the end of May. That's 15 days, 16 days. You don't even have to put for the whole quarter. But if you want to plan it out, say, what are the top events that I should be at as a real estate professional for the next 90 days? It'll give you such a large list that you're going to only be able to maybe tackle three, five, seven of them before your time gets consumed. YouTube. Guys, if you don't have a YouTube channel, create one. This isn't about becoming famous. This isn't about becoming an influencer. This is about saturating online data so you become the go-to when it comes to your craft. If you guys have a Google Home, if you have an Alexa, ask that device who you are. See what it tells you, what the response is. If it doesn't tell you what you want to hear, you need to deploy more content. If you go ask it who I am, you're like, that's crazy that this guy was on a Zoom today and this is what Google thinks or says who he is. Yes, because I created that with intention. YouTube will help you be there. Why? YouTube is the second largest search engine. It might end up becoming number one, but right now it's the number two. Who's number one? Google. Who owns YouTube? Google. So it's crazy for some of us who don't yet have a YouTube channel. Guys, I have 700 subscribers. I don't care. I have like 300 views on my videos. I don't care. But it's still there versus not being there. Mailers. You got to do mailers. Now, some of us were like, we can't afford them. You can. Just start at a number you can't afford. And if you really can't afford them, physically go out there, boots on the ground, and start putting them at doors. Let people have some type of physical piece with your picture on there. You might not be able to do four, five, 700. Start with 100. Start with 200. Start somewhere. Create some traction for yourself. Use stories in Instagram. Use stories on LinkedIn. Use stories amongst your events. Share experiences with people in your business. If you're struggling in the business, use stories about your 90 days. Talk about how difficult it is. Talk about your most challenging escrow. Talk about a recent listing that fell off. People will relate to that because we're human. Networking, team. This is one that is probably most uncomfortable for folks because they've either done it too many times and they didn't have success, or they haven't done it enough and don't recognize its value. But it's all about building a network. All about building a network. And don't just give your business card out. Gather people's data. What you give, you don't control. What you get, you have control. So for example, instead of here's my card, call me. Hey, look, I don't have my card on me. Give me your phone number. Let me send you a text. That's the answer. Gather phone numbers, gather emails, put them in your database. We all have a CRM, and if you don't have a CRM, connect with a team in a company that will give you a CRM and fill in the data. Fill email addresses, fill phone numbers, send auto text, send emails, and let people opt out. It's better for people to opt out than to never have had a chance to opt in at all. Then signs. How many of us don't yet have enough signs? That's wild. Signs still work. Signs still work for open house, for sale. I mean, there are so many covert agents that are like, oh, I don't need signs. I don't want to do signs. That's a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. But the more familiarity you have, the more business you're going to be able to generate. And then also create reels. And if you're not sure how to create reels or what reels to create, use ChatGPT and say, hey, give me 5 reels for this week. You can create one every single day. Give me a script I could use about real estate where it could be with a reel. Tell me what background I should use during my reel. Better yet, if you don't want to be on the video, at least have your voice be on the video. See, there's 3 areas of our life or 3 areas of our business that we have to be engaged in. If you're in all 3, better, but if you're not, at least one of those 3. One is your face. You have to be able to let people know who you are. Second is your voice. If it's not going to be your face, at least let them hear the voice. We all have a distinct voice. Believe me, if my camera was off and I was speaking and you were on a previous call, you'd be like, oh, it's that one guy. It's that one guy. Unless you know it's Cena. I don't know. Every time I say I'm Cena, people are like, John Cena, you can't see me. I have no idea, right? And if it's not your voice, then it's your touch. Your physical energy has to be present. It's one of those three. And if we're doing all three, we're winning. Visibility creates trust, team. It's not about loving content, not about becoming famous, about being visible, right? Familiarity lowers resistance. And we're all dealing with an objection business. So what you want to do is you're not trying to go viral, you're trying to stay consistent. So here's some actions. Post daily. I know it's a lot to ask of yourselves, but if you want to make a significant amount of income, if you want to lead in your space, you have to do things that are different than what other people are willing to do. You guys agree with that? Yes? I love it. Thank you. So post daily, post listings. If you guys don't have the activity yourself, highlight a listing or two that you love. You can pull it from the internet or in your area. I would actually physically walk and show the house that I love that might be for sale. Why not? Show a house that you'd love to sell in the future, in the near future. Do behind the scenes content. If you guys have a team in office, if not, engage or connect with one, but do a lot of behind the scenes content. Show your wins. Show your losses if you need to. Provide market updates. Do escrow stories. How many escrow folks are texting you begging to do your escrows? How many lenders are soliciting you, asking you for their business? Have them help you create behind the scenes content. Go to their office and meet with them, visit with them. Use their collateral for value for yourself. And the best is if you have business, use your clients, team. Your clients love to see you win. I was on a cool retreat last week with an amazing team, and I got a chance to speak to a gentleman named Tarek. And we talked about his success and how he's dominating Eastville and how he's also doing really well in Orange County. And we talked about all the client transformations and all the client testimonials that he could use to be able to grow his business, that he does such a great job of doing that. Team, the public will confuse visibility with success, and that's okay. The more you're relevant, the more you're there, the more success you're showing. It's not just about the money. You guys with me so far? Taking quick notes there. I love this. Thank you so much, Emily. Let's talk about the second pillar, speed, team. I talked about speed. Speed wins. So the first agent to respond usually will win. You guys agree with that? Yes? Well, let's say this. It's not the smartest, it's not the most experienced, it's the fastest. This is the fact. It's the fastest. It's all about execution. There are people that like are the smartest folks that will map it out. It looks beautiful. And then some guy walks along, and that's me, who just does it. It might be sloppy, but I'll fail forward. I will take fail forward over perfection any day because every time I fail forward, the better I've become. I've probably failed 80% of my life and my career, and I'm so proud of that statistic. I have no fear and I have no, I guess, disregard or disappointment in saying that I failed 80% of my life based on the successes that I've created. How many people are afraid of failure? We don't learn from our wins, team. We learn from our losses. You know, there's a quote from John Maxwell. If you guys are John Maxwell fans or people of faith, he says, "Some win, some learn." I love that statement. How many times are we learning every single day, team? Don't take losses, take learns. Consumers will reward speed more than perfection. Remember that. So a lead contacted within 5 minutes converts exponentially higher. So the $20 million agent, they do four things. They call immediately, they follow up immediately, they send disclosures immediately, and they solve problems immediately. Average agents hesitate. I shared this with the team a week or two ago. I said, if you guys are always over cleaning, you're probably procrastinating for something that's a lot more important. I've learned this. People that are not OCD, but if you're always cleaning, you're probably procrastinating something that's a lot more important. And that's why I get some smiles and some head nods. Call immediately, follow up immediately, send disclosures immediately, solve problems immediately. Team, elite agents move. Write down move and circle it. The only thing that I regret on this meeting is that I'm not standing delivering this message to you guys because I usually stand during all my meetings. Pillar three, the follow up. Sorry for speaking fast. I want to make sure you guys get this value, the follow up. Most commissions are lost in the follow up, team. It's not skill. It's in the follow-up. The average lead converts after multiple touches. I know there's that lucky one we talked about. However, most agents, after 1 to 2 attempts, they quit. Top producers, they will follow up for months, sometimes even for years. And I know that for years sounds like a long time, but if you have a nice pipeline and you're following up and you've been doing this for 2 or 3 years, you start to land deals every week, multiple deals a week that might be years old, but because you've been doing this for a while, now it's consistent deals all the time. And people are nodding their head yes because they've tasted that. And if you haven't, it's never too late to change. Team, remember this statement. You're never going to be as young as you are today. You're never going to be as young as you are today. I say this to you because I don't want you to think it's too late. I don't want you guys to think, oh man, I'm 10 years in the business, 5 years. I don't know. I'm tired. Can I do it? Yes. Yes, you can do it, but you have to own it. You're the CEO, team. You're the CEO. The fortune is in the follow-up. So what do you need? You need a CRM. If you have a CRM, put a checkbox. You need automation. If you don't have automation, circle it. If you do, put a checkbox. You need drip campaigns. These are all part of most CRMs will include it, but you need drip campaigns. You need to have a pipeline. That pipeline needs to be full. You need reminders and you need systems, not sticky notes. Nothing's wrong with the old school way, but we live in an era to where things are moving so fast. You don't want to be left behind because you failed to adapt to change. So here's the question. How much money is sitting inside your database right now that you stopped following up with? Think about that. We call those hidden assets. Let me just see if there's any questions so far. Are we going good? Am I going too fast, team? Am I losing you guys? Okay.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Yes, sir.
As I
Question?
hear you rattle off all these things, which is fantastic, my question that I have for the people on this call is, does it feel overwhelming? And two, what stops you from doing it? It's interesting, like, most of you guys know I'm engaged to a doctor, and he spent 15 years of schooling just to get to a point where he can call himself a doctor. But even if, once he became a doctor, he spent an additional 3 to 4 years practicing before he was able to do it on his own. And during that time, when he was in his residency, he made less than minimum wage. And why did he do all of that? And it's because now he gets to, and when someone comes up with a problem, he has a pretty good solution to it and he feels confident in his response. And it's still called a practice because he still practices every single day to improve his craft of being the best doctor he can. And I think it's interesting for us as agents, we want to make the quick buck so quickly and we've not invested enough time. That's why we get so much crap for how much money we make based on the amount of energy and time and schooling we've put into it, right? That's cool that we get to make that money. I think, like, what are we doing to hone our craft so that we can be that advisor that people are looking for, so that we're not constantly compared to a used car salesman or just a door opener? But again, going back to, like, what is it like? We've put a list of lots of different things that we should be doing, and I'm sure you guys can check box saying I do these things. Some of them I do okay, some of them I suck at, some I can do a better job, some I just don't do entirely. But what is it that stops you from saying I'm going to be all in? I'm going to do all these things. Is it just like being able to not have a structure? Like, what stops you? I want to hear. And it's not a rhetorical question. I'm curious.
Nazar, can I give that structure and then I'll hand it off to you and then
Yeah, go for it.
kind of wrap it up. So thank you so much for that, by the way. This is what I do want to share. And Tarek, I see you now. I don't know if you heard me give you a shout out, but it's great to see you this morning. So I just want to get some of you guys, if you're hearing all this, like Nazar said, it's
Thank
all
you.
this great content, but like how do we do it? How do we apply it? Let me give you a quick structure that if it's already working for you, don't change it. But if it's not, consider this structure. From 8 to 11, it's my money hours. Okay, so what does that mean? I have no distractions. I only do 4 or 5 things: prospecting, lead follow-up, outbound calls, appointments, and negotiations. What I don't do from 8 to 11 is I'm not going through emails because that will suck you dry like rabbit hole style. And we got to check our emails, but I don't do that in the morning. I'm not doing social scrolling. So if you notice 8 to 11, so if you're going to wake up earlier, do your social media stuff. 8 to 11. I'm not doing social scrolling and I'm not doing admin work. 8 to 11. Your mornings will determine your income. I learned this from Tom Ferry, and he's right. Your mornings will determine your income. From 11 to 2, client servicing. You're doing showings, inspections, paperwork, and you might have some meetings. From 11 to 2, client servicing. This is structure. And then from 2 to 5, it's all about marketing and growth. Content creation, social media, networking, open house preps, and database nurture. And that's from 2 to 5. And then at night, you're building relationships, maybe dinners, events, phone calls, checking in on folks, and appreciation. And that's a schedule, that's a structure. And then within that, you're going to fill in your open houses and stuff. Nazar, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm going to hand it back up over to you because those were some really powerful questions you asked. And I love for the team to be able to contribute some of those answers. And I'll be on for a couple of minutes because I love to hear them. And if there's any questions you guys have for me, you can put them in the chat. And if I'm on, I'd love to answer them for you. But thank you so much, Nazar.
Thank you, Sina. Again, if you guys you've had a minute to think about it now, what is it? I mean, and I hope that you guys feel comfortable about being vulnerable because being vulnerable is how growth happens. Um, when I was in the very beginning of my career, I was like, I don't know what to do. It was very stressful. There's a million balls that are juggling that you have to figure out how to do. You have to be a content creator. You have to be this. You have to be that. You have to be the mayor of the town. Like and even just looking at this list that Sina came up with it can feel very overwhelming. And, and so, but like, I mean, it's, if you don't do it, then the results are that you don't get the success that you want. Right. But if you do those things and you don't have to do it all, right? But if your income isn't the level you want it to be, then maybe it's time to add some of these things into your daily practice, your daily routine.
I think the hardest part for me is consistency. I do a little bit of all of these
Yeah.
um, items, except for the fail forward. I do that all the time. But for me, it's being consistent with the Instagram. It's very sporadic. Outside of my keeping current matters auto post, it's very sporadic, and it needs to be less sporadic. Community events is hard because I don't live in Cincinnati anymore, and I was doing community events there, and now I've shifted that to doing community events in Denver, where I just moved to. I'm also back to square one with everything. I don't have a sphere in Denver. I don't really know anybody. Um, I don't. We do team meetings with my team here, and the last hour is spent calling prospects and leads, and I don't have any of those or past clients in Sphere. And I could call my Ohio people, but that's not the purpose of my hour of power with my team in Denver. So I think consistency, and then having to go back to square one after 10 years of being relatively successful in a market and then trying to build something brand new in a market where I don't know anybody. And my business in Ohio was built off of knowing everybody. So that's where it's a little, and now I'm not in my 20s anymore and making friends isn't like it used to be. So it's a little difficult for me, but I think consistency, if I could get consistent with my blogging, with my Instagram, open houses, I'm running those pretty much every weekend. It's been a little tough with kids' sports lately, and I accidentally signed up to coach flag football. So I'm kind of committed to that from 12 to 2 every Sunday. But this is the last weekend. So I think consistency, um, discipline is a good one too. I saw that in the chat. But mainly consistency. If I could be more consistent with it and time block, I used to be decent at that, and I've just that's gone out the window with trying to manage two markets.
I love that. Thank you, Andrew. And again, we should be talking more often because I've been there. I've done that. And I would venture to say that the thing that has allowed me to thrive is by having a coach. The reason is because it has given me the requirement of like preparing for the call and saying, "Yeah, I'm going to do this," and then actually doing it. Having someone hold me accountable. And if you guys can't afford a coach to be a one-on-one coach for you, at this point in time, you most certainly could have another person that's within the company or just find another agent and hold each other accountable. Because if you say, hey, I'm going to do this, and then you have a call at 5 o'clock to confirm if you did that or not, then there's a higher probability that you'll do that. You'll make that call. You'll do that post. You'll make your contacts, whatever it is. And if you don't, and all you're doing is just telling yourself, hey, I'm going to do this today, we let ourselves down all the time. It sucks, but we do. But we'll let less people down than we would on our own. So I encourage you to get an accountability partner. And just it doesn't have to be a whole day. You can just be like, hey, my goal today is to do this, or my goal for the week is to do this, and then hold each other accountable to do that. Will you guys do that? Like I really I want you guys to all be successful. When the failure rate is so high in this industry, it's so high that the people that are successful are the ones that are doing the things. And you guys, listen, I'm preaching to the choir, right? Like you guys are taking time out of your day to come to this call, to hone your skills, to remember what you should be doing, because it's a constant thing. And it's hard. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Everyone thinks it's easy, and that's why they do get into this business. But when they get into it, like, oh shoot, these guys actually do deserve the money they make. And it's freaking hard. It is taxing emotionally, physically, like everything. And so I appreciate that we have here the ability to be able to support one another. But I want to encourage you, it's one step further is to be able to get that coach, or if you can't afford the coach, to get that accountability partner. Can I get I commit to getting at least an accountability partner? Come on, Lucy, raise your hand. No, you won't even do that? That's fine. That's cool. You can make your minimum wage job. That's fine. I love it for you. But I believe that all of us do want to, and if you want to, then do that. Like make that happen. If you want to get to that next level, whatever that next level is for you, then I encourage you to do that. And Mark, you have lots of people available to you, even here or wherever. And I appreciate you being on here. I know that this is your horse day, um, so any other thoughts, questions for me or Sina? Thanks for staying on a little bit longer. Any thoughts? I'm okay with silence.
Thank you, Sina. I'll share something he told me when we were having that breakfast in Cancun, and he talked about your past clients, and you can just give one of them a call and tell them, "I'm just checking in. I'm happy that I'm hearing your voice, and I really appreciate the opportunity you gave me." And I tried that a couple of times when we got back, and it feels really great. So thank you for that.
What was the outcome of that though, aside from like being able to just connect with them?
Reconnecting. That's the main thing. So I can call them again next time, and it will be a better conversation. But
Yeah,
I won't come off as salesy or pushy if I ask a question next time.
yeah. Who's ever read the book or listened to the podcast or even heard about the Gary Vaynerchuk book that he wrote a long time ago that says jab, is it jab, jab, punch? It's the jabs are the what you're giving them, making those deposits into that
Jab,
trust
jab, hook.
hook. There you go. And then the hook is then asking for the business, right? Like if you just call someone out of the blue you've never talked to and be like, "Hey, who do you know? How could like that's when you sound salesy and you sound like you're just no one wants that friend. No one wants that person making that call. But if you're calling and checking up on them and connecting with them and giving them value and telling what their house is worth currently, or saying, "Hey, I had a really good experience with this plumber," or if you ever need anyone for the services that you have for your house, here's a list. Like constantly delivering value that way is an awesome way to be able to do it. And you guys, especially Andrew, if you're listening, like being on social media is what is going to make you either relevant or not relevant in this business. If you're not constantly on there, not to consume media, but to deposit media, that's how you're going to win. You guys get it? And I don't know what holds you back. I don't know what stories you tell yourself in your head of why you can't do it or why not this or that, whatever it is. Like you guys, literally the video that I made yesterday about prayer, did you guys see that one? Of course, you guys don't watch my stuff, but those that did, like I literally broke that script down into sentences. And I just went around and I did a sentence here and a sentence there because it was easy for me because I suck at memorizing. And I just got all those sentences and just put them together. If you were at the event last week, you learned how to do it. You just merge those sentences together, add the captions, and then done. Like it literally took me less than 30 minutes to put that out there. And like if you go on ChatGPT or Claude and you ask it to give you a whole 30 days worth of content, it's not that difficult. In fact, you can batch video them, can't you? I don't care if you're wearing the same thing, it doesn't matter. You can batch the content, get it week at a time, spend a couple hours a day or a couple hours a week and just bang that out and then push it out there. And then those that don't, that's fine. You just won't get the recognition. You won't get the people that don't know you to trust you and like you. And for you, Andrew, if you're trying to build a new area, holy crap, man, like you should follow this guy named Dixie Dan. He's in my location or neighborhood here. Dixie Dan, that's his kind of, I think that's what his tagline is on Instagram. He just decided to go all in on Instagram. He literally showcases all of the communities around town. And that's like literally what he does. And he gets a ton of phone calls from people saying, hey, I'm interested in this community. So, and that gives you an opportunity to be able to get to know all those communities, right? Because you're doing some research and finding all that stuff out. So anyway, all right, guys, hopefully this masterclass was worthwhile. Thank you, Sina, again for being on here. I appreciate all of you. I believe in you. I really do. Like you have what it takes. You just got to want it bad enough. Okay. All right. Reach out if you need anything. Otherwise, we will talk to you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.